Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we are back to do some review of NXT 205 Live, the Super Snake Shakedown with Byron.
Yeah, no, Super Snake Stare Down.
Stare down. Alrighty.
Jesus. Vince has had this repeated ad nauseum for the last 3.5 years solid. Get it right.
And I ignore him.
That's not untrue.
We're here to do 205 Live NXT. We're also going to talk about plans for the future. So we'll just throw that out there right now. We're probably going to watch the Impact versus Lucha Underground show and throw that on to the next episode of Squared Circle Jerks podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll
also, we still haven't watched Sakura Genesis.
Yeah, we'll probably do Sakura Genesis as well. So that'll be probably the doubleheader next week. Sakura Genesis, Impact versus Lucha Underground, plus the usual 205 NXT coverage. And, yeah, I watched Impact again. I was, again, horrified. So, it is unlikely that we're going to go there.
Sell me on the car wreck that is Impact.
I could not. I could not in good conscience sell you on it.
Hilarious. But they got that Eli something or other, right?
Well, they got a lot of good talent, and there's some good things happening. Just the entire package, though, is it's like they don't know what they really want to be, and that's the problem.
Neither do I, man. Come on.
All right, let's get into 205 Live.
Grotesque. Why would you do such a thing?
So we opened up with the Muslim America battle: Mustafa Ali versus Arya Daivari.
Yeah, I think Ali is plastered more weird, like, dollar store shit on his new costume, because I swear he's got weird fan fidget spinner things just on his palms. How is that supposed to do anything?
Yeah,
what is that supposed to do?
I'm not really down with the whole costume, to be honest.
I'm fine with it. It's just explain some of it to me.
Yeah, that would also work.
Is he going to use these fans in like some sort of palm strike attack? Because I'm cool with that too.
That'd be neat.
Like, next week? Is he going to have little propeller beanies on his shoulders? And I don't know. Eventually, he will take off. He will take flight.
That will be it. Actually, instead of going to the top rope, he's just going to levitate from the mat and do the
Max Moon
2.0.
Max Moon 2.0. Max Moon 2.0.
I mean, hopefully it's better than Max Moon.
I was really really worried about this because I confuse these guys' names all the time, and I don't know why. And I figured if they were both in the ring at the same time, I'd probably be able to keep it straight, and I was totally able to do that. So I'm proud of myself.
That's good. Match was fine, but I don't know. Didn't really hype me at all.
I didn't like it at all. Other note I've got is that Daivari didn't come down with his rich guy gear on, so that's a change.
He seems to be trying to go for a bit of a turn to like, honestly, kind of like this idea that he wants respect, sort of thing. So basically, he's the Middle Eastern Hideo Itami.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. Like he was doing the whole I am a great wrestler from Persia, just like all the other Persian Olympian wrestlers. He was doing that, and then he went into the Daivari De Niro thing, which was so much better. He had a personality. It was cool. People liked to hate him. It was working. But the match itself was just Ali getting his ass kicked for like 12 or 15 minutes, and then suddenly
probably more like 10. But yeah.
Yeah. And then mysteriously he just won. Hey! It was the dumbest formulaic garbage ever.
This is WWE. That's their formula.
No.
Then we had a little segment where Buddy Murphy failed to make weight, weighing at 207.5. He says, "Well, give me like an hour to cut the weight," and they're like, "No, you knew the deal." See, I like this idea, but I would have liked it better if they had Murphy struggling to make weight this entire time. Like if there was a congruent storyline here, because
give me like a 204.9.
Yeah, because in the past, like they'd had him weighing in at like I think the lowest he weighed in was like 201.6. Yeah, which we talked about before is ridiculous that he would cut that much weight, because you don't have to cut that much weight. That's just bad planning. That's like you don't like if you go to an MMA weigh-in or a boxing weigh-in and it's a 205-pound match. You're going to see a guy weighing at maybe, 204.5, maybe as low as 204. But if they're below 204, it's like, okay, so you didn't actually cut weight. You were trying to put weight on. And yeah, so it doesn't really make any sense that he failed now. Like,
yeah, I don't know. And plus they're like, give me an hour to cut weight. And they're like, no, Like, but everybody, again, this is 2018. We all have the internet, and wrestling fans are generally speaking also MMA fans. We know you get an extra hour to try and cut that weight. We know that.
See, I don't actually mind that so much because the WWE can just say that is our rule. That's fine.
But they didn't really say that.
Yeah,
they didn't. And that was never said before. Like, you only get one shot to weigh in, and that's it. If that's the deal, cool. That actually heightens the whole. What word am I looking for here?
Anticipation.
Anticipation. Stakes, impact, that kind of thing. Like, you got to weigh in right now. And if that's the case, man, cool. I'm behind it. But again, it's 2018, and we all know these rules. We all know these facts. You can, might want to blend with reality a little bit more and have some easier, willing suspension of disbelief.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be it. I compared this to The Ultimate Fighter in a bit of a way. Like, in the first season of The Ultimate Fighter, Bobby Southworth was like the big, okay, is he going to make weight? Is he not going to make weight? If you did that storyline, that works perfectly fine. But the problem is, this is like more like this is more like if Diego Sanchez had randomly missed weight for one fight on for a season of The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah,
his weight was more than under control because he really wasn't a middleweight and he was fighting at middleweight, and he was perfectly fine every time. And that's kind of the thing here. Like this should have been like, all right, you're 204.9, 204.8, 205 on the dot. No, he's been underweight in every weigh-in, and that really makes, I don't know, it's just bad storytelling.
Yeah, exactly. I have a note here that says, Bloody Morphe is fat as shit!
They did this better when they did Matt Hardy back in the day with the version 1 trying to make weight.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
And if you can hear Led Zeppelin in the background, it's because my roommate is playing it.
Oh, that's fine. I anticipate like the world crashing down around my ears because the neighbors upstairs were slamming something.
I'm just more warning I'm just explaining it to the audience if it is actually being picked up.
So am I. I just came up. Are you ready for new fantasy booking warfare?
Hit me.
We're now going to be cross branding the Broken Brilliance, and Matt Hardy, woken Matt Hardy will come to 205 to aid Buddy Murphy with his condition.
I like it. I like it a lot.
You will become the worst version of yourself. And they can start doing Murphy facts. Or we could start having Murphy moments or something.
Yeah, I'm down with this. This is a good idea. So instead of him getting a title shot against Alexander at, I want to say Backlash, we're getting a gauntlet match to replace Murphy. Then we had Gentleman Jack Gallagher, Brian Kendrick versus Jobbers. I like the Jobbers for a change looked kind of serious, like they had gear, which is nice. Because a lot of the time the Jobbers, like, during this match I was kind of thinking about this, is that I'm actually very disappointed in jobbers when they don't look like wrestlers, if that makes any sense. Because they bring out these guys or girls, and it's, okay, you're terrified of the person before the match started. Why did you ever take the match? Why are you being paid for this match? That's the other thing. Like, I like a squash match where at the start, if I brought someone in who had never seen the two wrestlers, they don't know that it's instantaneously a squash match. The problem with a lot of the squash matches in WWE is if I brought, I'm just going to pick a friend out of my hat here. If I brought my friend Chris over and put on a WWE program with a jobber match, Chris has not watched wrestling since, I'm going to say, like 2004, so he knows nobody. But if he was sitting there with me and watching, he'd instantly know who the jobber is just based on the, not even like the jobber entrance, just this guy looks like he's pissing himself, and look at his gear.
Shape.
Yeah. So, I like the look of these jobbers. I did not like the fact that they were terrified of Brian Kendrick and Jack the Ripper before the match even started, because it's not even like it's a Braun or a Lars Sullivan squash match where you're like, oh god, this guy really is that huge. It's like, no, you're about the same size as these guys.
Yeah, it was more of a technical showcase than anything else. The match itself, I didn't really enjoy. There wasn't really much there for me. It's not like I hated it. I just didn't buy in. Like, as soon as I saw Le Jabier as the opponents, I was like, okay, I'm kind of just mentally checked out.
But I think that's because they mishandled job matches for the longest time.
Yeah,
like, I mean, they don't.
In this, you can always do like Large Sullivan fucking crushing people. Cool, we get that. But if you're gonna do a Le Jabier versus the Cruel Winter here, you have to have the Cruel Winter be fucking cruel. They have to do things that I'm gonna go, ooh, you're definitely not on there. Like, ooh, that looks, ooh, God, ooh. Like, I have to be doing that the entire time the match is on.
Mm-hmm.
And this was just a wrestling match that the bad guys did a few bad things, and that's not what I want. If I could have watched these two versus Ali and Cedric for the 90th time. You didn't hit the mark because they didn't figure out how to do it right, which is weird for a professional.
Yeah. Then we had Ali talking about Murphy being out against Alexander. Talked a little bit about Alexander wants to retain the title. And then, he wants to be in the gauntlet match, which, I mean, he will be. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we had a Drew Gulak promo. And I honestly don't even really remember what he was talking about.
I didn't remember that there was a Drew Gulak promo, so you're ahead of me.
There you go. And then we had Tornado Tag, the taco truck versus the ramen bar.
I can't believe we're going with that joke. You're totally racist.
Yes. Anyways, no Kalisto at ringside, so nice, honor-bound faces, I guess.
Yeah, a couple things. This is the fourth straight week we're doing this. I will grant you they did a nice recap package, but it just reinforced to me that this match has been done again and again and again and again. And there's not been anything... except for the initial few matches, there's never been a real reason to continue this feud. They're just having matches now. There's no escalation. There's no build to a peak. Also, we're doing Tornado Tag with only 2 teams? I guess. I mean, that's a thing. But isn't that usually reserved for multiple teams for giant schmozzes?
No, I mean, I've seen it done with just 2 teams before. A lot in Lucha, for example.
Yeah, I guess.
So, I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, well, my third note on here is Metallica's been out of the ring for a solid 7 minutes. Lucha win confirmed.
Believe me, I have a whole rant about that spot. So yeah, Drake is out there talking about how he's just trusting Kendrick and Gallagher's word that they won't come out and interfere, as well as Kalisto. It makes sense that you would trust Kalisto, not so much that you would trust the Cruel Winter. Which kind of points towards the whole not great booking of the Cruel Winter.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so we'll just dive right into this. There is a spot where Grand Metalik comes out of nowhere. And the problem is that he's out in the hard camp the whole time. Like, going to his corner really slowly, and then, struggling to get onto the apron, clearly there the entire time. This was such a failure of a spot. Oh my god, it was bad. It was so bad that it was comical, though. I'll give it that. And he did save Lindsay Dorado, but oh my god, this was bad.
My favorite spot of the match was the Sunset Bomb Tower of Doom for a couple of reasons.
That was fucking great.
I don't remember anybody doing a Sunset Bomb Tower of Doom before. I'm very wrong, I know that, but I don't remember seeing it before. It was really well executed. It was very new and fresh and exciting to me. The problems are that it was a super, super, super soft landing for such a well executed, momentum-based move. Also, he Tower of Doomed his own fucking partner. What the fuck?
What a dick.
What an asshole. You're cut from the Lucha Mouse Party, sir.
That was good. There was a nice stereo moonsault spot as well. Yeah. I remember there were 2 spots that I was kind of mixed on. Tozawa set up to go for his big senton onto an announce table. Mm-hmm. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, can he actually jump that gap?
I desperately want to find out. That would be... I was on the edge of... I was okay with the match. This whole episode of 205 Live, the matches weren't very good, and I really wasn't invested. But when they started doing shit like this, I was almost on the edge of my seat going, oh.
Yeah, there were some very, very good points in this match. There were also some very bad ones, which we talked about the main one.
I started doing my Nixon Black Dynamite impression. And then they interrupted it.
The other one was they did a handspring double stunner by Lince Dorado, which sounds really cool on paper, but then I watched the move and go, I don't really care for that.
No. I'm not usually into the double stunner, double... You can do a double single leg drop kick. I'm waiting for somebody to do like a double single leg drop kick to like your two opponents, but I want them to do like a Bruce Lee like hip twist to it. I don't want just like legs straight out. I want a little hip twist and put some in there, like you're preparing to throw a savage roundhouse kick. You just bam and just stomp your feet into their chests. I think that anybody who pull that off, I think, will be in good stead.
I'm down with that. The other thing I noted about this match is, man, the heel idea for Tozawa is, I think, just a bad idea. Not that he cannot be a good heel, but like the crowd so wants to cheer this guy. Just really does.
I think he could be like the 205 Rusev. Right? Like he's not a nice guy, but he goes out there and gets the job done, and people like him, even though he's a bad guy. I think they could make that work if somehow Itami could play into it. I don't know
if Itami really can. Like, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, I think you could do something like a Rusev, but you can't do it while continuing the Hideo Itami storyline, unless Itami can show me a lair that I've not seen from him, and I'm not convinced exists. And I say that as a massive Kenta fan.
Yeah.
But
the problem is that he's not allowed to be Kenta anymore.
Yeah, he's not allowed to be Kenta anymore. And I mean, in the end, we do get we do get the end of this match eventually for the Lucha House Party. This was after double splashes basically, and Tozawa had taken out Itami accidentally before that.
See, dude, you know what? I'm on the fence here because I think I like those two together, but I also want an Itami Tozawa feud.
I'd be down with that.
I want like a best of 7.
I would be super down with that. Because I think Tozawa would let him work more or less like Kenta.
I think that, it would be... they both could. Like, you get Dragon Gate Tozawa, and you get New Japan Kenta. I think, if the bosses will let him work.
I think wasn't Kenta more Noah than New Japan?
You're probably right on that one.
Anyways, onwards to NXT. It was a thumbs in the middle show for 205, but the final match was really good. Go watch that.
Yeah, you are correct, sir. He was a Noah wrestler, not New Japan.
I think he may have had a appearance or two in New Japan as well, but he was primarily a Noah guy.
I think you are correct. Yeah.
So we go to NXT. We open up with the Garganos coming out for a rushes invasion.
My first note here says this Hebel Harch.
This Hebel Harch.
This Hebel Harch. If you're not, you don't know what we're talking about, you need to invest your time some more in some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu type stuff and get yourself like a Brazilian instructor so that you can get the accent. It's very nice.
Yeah, you could understand the joys of the Portuguese language.
Yeah,
as spoken by Brazilians.
I enjoyed the promo. The promo was hot. The crowd was hot. There was an unsolicited Candace wrestling chant for about 2 chants, and then another chant took over. But later on in the promo, your boy Johnny Gargamel totally grabbed onto that one and went, Johnny wrestling and Candace wrestling. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to those chants down the line. They are going to be good.
Yeah, everything with the Garganos is going full speed ahead. Great work. Fantastic.
Indeed. My final note on the promo is that when he goes to Maine and gets booked as a jobber for 3 years straight, I'm probably going to kill myself.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Anyways, basically the high point, the bullet points of the promo. Candice is facing Zelina Vega tonight. Johnny wants a title shot. There we go. Moving on. We have Killian Dane doing a Crazy Man promo, and I was fine with this.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he does. So, he did it.
And then we had Ricochet versus Fabian Eichner, and I had all the wood in the world when I realized this was a thing.
Yes, so I had already seen it, and Mike was on TeamSpeak with me last night, and he's like, "Oh, Ricochet, who's gonna be?" I'm like, "I can't tell you, but it might be Fabian Eichner." Whoa! It's my first note says, "Fuck, his intro is great. Fuck, this whole thing is gonna be the tits," and it was the tits.
It wasn't quite as much the tits as I wanted it to be, but
I think if you give these guys, I think if this is your first stop and you give these guys more matches, fuck.
Only problem is they're probably not, because we've had this with Eichner pretty much his entire time in NXT. Comes out, has great match. Doesn't really get a storyline out of it, and just ends up back as jobber 2 stars.
I mean, he's still higher up the ranks than Cesar Bononi. So I mean,
I would hope so, because he's much better than Bononi.
I have 2 amusing notes here. One says, "Hangman, take note on Flippy shit."
Hell yes.
And my last note, other than Dad 630, what is interview bot wants to be the future of fornication. She was giving him some eyeballs.
I'm sorry, lady. That's Tessa Blanchard's, man.
Correct. You don't want to do that.
Indeed. Match was good. There was some really good power spots from Eichner, smoothness, good flying stuff from Ricochet doing his thing. I mean, I don't think you can have a bad match with Ricochet, really. And if you can, please quit the business.
Pretty much, yeah. No, I enjoyed the match. It wasn't, you're not wrong, it wasn't the best thing in the world, but it was still very much better than... I had just watched 205 Live, and then this happened. I was like, okay, shifting into like 4th gear here.
Yes. Then we had EC3 promo. He is 97% charisma and 3% body fat. I don't know about the body fat, but he's definitely 97% charisma.
And he is from Oklahoma, the great state of Oklahoma.
Please, WWE, do not drop the ball with Ethan Carter III, a.k.a. Derek Bateman, a.k.a. EC3, again. Fuck. Because how you dropped the ball on him during his NXT run, back when it was like a reality show, is truly confusing to me. Because the crowd reactions were great. There is so much you can do with this guy. He's got versatility. He's solid in the ring, not a fantastic worker, but a very good worker. Very good on the mic. Very good at playing both an arrogant asshole and a goofy, like, babyface type thing. So, man, don't drop the ball. Do not drop the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Then we had a Lars Sullivan promo, which I basically said Lars Sullivan is Lars, and that's really all there is about this promo that I have to say.
Pretty much, yeah. The promos on, actually there was one promo that stood out as a hell of a thing, but the promos in here were kind of standard. Like, there's, not to jump the gun too far, but there's a Shayna Baszler confronting the locker room promo, which, from a conceptual point of view, I ain't never seen that before. Well, that's awesome. But it was just standard Shayna being Shayna at this point, and then she tried to pick on Dakota Kai, who, I mean, that's been done for weeks now. Probably stop. You're wearing out that record really badly.
Yeah. We'll talk a little more about that, but then we've
already talked about it.
We had the War Raiders versus JC and Chris, the jobbers who looked like Deuce and Domino after going through some tough times, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
The match wasn't that good because the jobbers couldn't really wrestle to the level of Warmachine Raiders.
Well, they weren't supposed to. Jobber number 1 just got killed at the start. I don't know if that was JC or Chris.
Doesn't matter.
The second one had at least. The second one was like kind of what, to go back to what we were talking about earlier. I like the second guy because at least like he tagged himself in, he goes in there and he looks confident until he locks up with Hanson and chops him and hurts his hand. I mean that's perfect.
That was funny.
That's perfect jobber stuff. This guy is not a complete bitch when he comes out. He has to be made into a bitch. I like that. Yeah. That's a positive move for jobbers.
Quote of the night from the fans. Do you have a note on that, sir?
I do not.
The quote of the night for the quote of the week. I'm going to go with quote of the week. Wrestling quote of the week. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
There was one crowd member that screamed at the top of his lungs, "Stop the damn man!"
Oh, yeah, I do remember.
Oh, man, that was the best. I laughed so hard. Anyways, and then nobody gets up from Fallout.
Yeah, War Raiders win with Fallout, move on. Good debut. Then we had the Baszler thing. Yeah, I just basically said here, Shayna Baszler is late for a meeting, and she is head bitch. That's basically it.
Yeah, it was just like, I liked the conceptual thing of confronting the whole locker room. He walked in the locker room and went, "I'm top motherfucking shit of fuck mountain. Fuck you." That's cool, but half the people there, A, I didn't recognize, B, they looked confused as to who the fuck she was, and then Dakota Kai just was like, fuck, whatever, and tried to leave, and then Shayna got in her face about it, and again, you've beat that horse to death. Great, Dakota Kai, unless you're going to put the strap on Dakota Kai, if this is a story arc, cool, I get it. But I have a feeling that you don't know what you're doing with Dakota Kai, and you just want to put her on TV because maybe you gave her more money than everyone else, and you want to utilize the talent.
She has definitely a Bayley vibe to her.
You could definitely make a lot of that money.
I mean, the problem was that Bayley works so well, not necessarily because of Bayley. I mean, the credit to Bayley, part of it is her, but part of it was also the women around her made the Bayley storyline in NXT work really, really well. Mm-hmm. And I think with the current roster, I'm not sure if that's going to work because the current NXT women's roster kinda sucks.
Yeah.
Like, you've lost Asuka, you've lost Ember Moon, you've lost Ruby Riott, you've lost the Iconics, not that that's necessarily a bad thing.
They just had a giant women's tournament and barely signed anybody.
They signed actually a lot of the women for the Mae Young Classic, it's just they signed, to me, all the green ones. The Vanessa Bournes, the Bianca Belairs, the Lacey Evanses, all the women that, honestly, I hadn't really seen before, and they left the ones... Now, whether they wanted to, or they just weren't willing to give them enough money, or, whatever. I mean, for all I know, they tried to sign everybody. But they really kind of missed out on almost all the catches from that tournament.
Yeah, I had heard that they didn't even bother trying to sign Toni Storm, but she's incredibly young, so I guess she's got time.
Yeah, well, like Toni Storm is the great one because they put her in the final four of that tournament, and I'm like, if you're not interested in signing her, why is she going this far?
Yeah, I don't know.
And, you got the same... I mean, they did sign Mercedes Martinez and Abby Lath, but they've released Abby Lath, and I think they gave Mercedes, one match on TV, so...
Yeah, was Abby Lath Cherry Bomb?
Abby Lath is Kimberly.
Oh, Kimberly, right. So they
Cherry Bomb's an Impact.
Right, so they signed Kimberly and couldn't figure out how to use one of the best female wrestlers on the independent circuit. Great.
Yeah.
Well played. I expect more out of you, NXT. I expect a lot more.
They also, I haven't seen Rhea Ripley, who I thought was one of the better people in the tournament also. She's not around. Tessa Blanchard didn't get signed.
Which is garbage.
Somehow Rachel Evers, a.k.a. Rachel Ellering, didn't get signed. That's really fucking confusing me.
Maybe her dad Pearl Harbored her.
Maybe. Anyways, moving on, we had a Kona Reeves promo.
Dude, this was great.
This was
awesome.
This was great. My only kind of hang up on this is there's a little bit of the Velveteen Dream in this character.
Well, see, and that's what I kind of latched onto is I'm watching the promo and I had the same vibe, but the vibe I got was this was everything the Velveteen Dream promos should have been condensed, all of them condensed into one great promo. This is what it should have been from the beginning. And I really want a Kona Reeves Velveteen Dream. Either feud, partnership, what if they become tag team partners and try to spotlight each other? How awesome would that be?
I'll be down with this.
I would be totally down with all of those things.
Let's see here, what was next? We had Pete Dunne Do you have any thoughts on? You have any thoughts on Roderick Strong? I'm going to be back in a few weeks, and then you can ask me that question again after I've ripped Roddy Strong's head off. So yeah, that's going on still, and I'm happy with that. Lars Sullivan and Killian Dane had a no DQ match where everything is legal, which is redundant, but okay.
Correct, and they used no weapons.
They used some chairs, table was there, but yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot of plunder, and I didn't expect there to be a lot of plunder. I expected this to be a tame plunder match. Things were fine. The spots were well executed, reasonably good power stuff. Both guys still need to kind of learn to put a whole match together, because it did feel like we're going to do this spot, then we're going to do this spot, and there's not really... The in-between stuff is a little subpar. But
yeah, it was,
makes sense.
Too much plotting. At one point, Dane's nose got busted open. My very first note on the match says, "Sanity to Maine, so Dane will lose."
Mm-hmm. And
I thought there was a good payoff for the divide, because he tried that 2 times, and Lars caught him, and then he finally hit it and put him through a table, but I knew he wasn't going to win, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah, but I mean, that's unfortunately, this is just a nature of NXT, is that some of the wins are always going to be, well, in wrestling in general, but some of the wins are always going to be fairly predictable because of who's going to the main roster, who's not going to the main roster, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And then we had Candace LeRae versus Zelina Vega, and
I have 2 notes on this match. 1, Candace's music is trash. Fuck me, that's bad.
Didn't much care for it myself.
Jeez, let's just have some weird, muddy, mid-tempo, mid-range, mid fucking sloppy garbage. And my final note on the match is that it was okay, but Vega isn't up to wrestling professionals, so please don't do that anymore.
I disagree in the sense that I think Vega is up to wrestling professionals, but I think they're trying to turn her into a female almost in terms of like style. Like she went for the double hammerlock DDT, or not the double the hammerlock DDT and all that kind of stuff. Like she's trying to replicate his arsenal, basically, to intertwine them even further, and that's not her. Like that's not how she wrestles, and that I think is a problem. I don't think she can replicate that style well, and shouldn't. I mean, she's a tiny woman. She should play to her strengths. I don't know why when she comes out she's just not Thea Trinidad wrestling. Like, I understand that you're the Vega character, blah blah blah, but just be yourself when it comes to the actual wrestling. Do what you know how to do and can do well. So I put this one on the agent / booking of the match. Just you have her working not as her.
Yeah, it just wasn't. It was not what I would have had Candace's match debut be. It was not good enough. Not good enough.
Sure.
That's not how you. This is and sometimes I hold debuts to much too high a standard, because the first debut in NXT I ever saw was Nakamura.
Yeah, no,
that should have been a 5-star match. That was spectacular.
I think you're absolutely right that not that every debut should be a 5-star match, because I think that that's asking for too much, but every debut should be assuming you're not like a green jobber or something. Your debut match should be against an opponent and worked in a manner that is going to accentuate your skills and make the match look really good. And this was not that. Not that Vega / Thea Trinidad cannot be her debut match, and probably should because of the storyline, but it should have been done as like, all right, we're doing Thea Trinidad versus Candace LeRae. We're not doing Vega versus Candace LeRae. We can have her act like a bitch and a heel, but that's it. Like the rest, the move set should be her own. And you probably would have gotten, 3.5 stars, which would have been acceptable. This match, probably 2.25, maybe 2.5.
Yeah, I don't know. It just was not from, I haven't seen a super ton of Candace LeRae, but I've seen some World's Cutest Tag Team shit, and this was not anywhere near that good. So, I expected better and more, and didn't get it. So that's where we are.
Yep. So, anyways, that was the show. Anyways, we didn't even talk about who went over. Candace LeRae went over after Gargano and also almost get involved in the match a little bit, just with distractions, no man-on-woman violence. And in the end, both the Mexicans get tapped out with Gargano escapes. Which, yes, I know Vega is not actually a Mexican.
She is from the deepest, darkest part of Guadalajara, New York.
Indeed. So that was the show. It was pretty good in the sense that it advanced all the storylines kind of where you wanted to go, even if the execution of it wasn't necessarily great. The matches were largely okay. Enjoyed Eichner versus Ricochet. Enjoyed War Raiders versus Jobbers for what it was. I enjoyed Sullivan and Dane about as much as I expected. LeRae and Vega was kind of my letdown moment. And I said it, I believe, even before the match started, because you had already seen it, and I said, this is either going to be actually pretty decent or pretty crap. And
I think I made some sort of noise.
Yeah, I don't know if I would call it pretty crap, but it was not pretty good. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, it just wasn't good enough for me. I am very discerning in my snootiness.
Yes, you are.
So the Super Snake stare down. What are your thoughts on that? I think you said that you texted me and said that Raw definitely was the clear winner in this one.
I think Raw's been the clear winner every time they do this.
I would disagree.
Hit me.
Well, I mean, let's see who's on SmackDown now. I've got the Wikipedia page. So to Raw, we had the vast majority of trades. Well, not vast majority. 10 people ended up on SmackDown. 15 ended up on Raw. 11 people ended up on SmackDown and 14 on Raw. They included the Miz trade during the Raw segment. So to Raw, you had Jatinder Mahal's and one Singh brother, probably the second Singh brother.
Probably the one that's not hurt.
Yeah, the entirety of the Riot Squad on... I think they dropped the ball here, just as an aside. I would have folded the rest of the two from Absolution into the Riot Squad, and then you'd have just like one big terrorizing female faction for Raw, which leads into them putting every single female person on the roster in one single shot. You could have easily done that for like one match. Mm-hmm. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn got signed. They were kayfabe free agents. Miz went to SmackDown without the Miztourage, which I think is a good move.
Depends what they want to do with Axel and Dallas. Like, if they want to give them an actual storyline, sure. But if they're going to go back to what they were before the Miztourage, I'd say this is a bad move.
It at least gives them the opportunity to get on the mic. And from the last 2 or 3 weeks of programming, they've been doing a great job doing their thing. So I'm down with that. Also, it takes goons away from the Miz, so I don't have to instantly just switch off his matches, because I know that he's probably not going to have goons interfere every single fucking goddamn time. So that's good. We got Zack Ryder. We got the Fashion Police. Natalya. Quite honestly, when I saw Natalya on screen, I just assumed she was on Raw anyway, so I didn't know she got traded. Mo Joseph, Raleigh, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Miracle Mike Kanellis, The Ascension, Boberto Rodeo Drive, and Chad Gable.
A little disappointed they broke up Gable and Benjamin.
I am as well, but I'm really hoping that 2018 will become the year of the shoosh.
Not on Raw.
God damn it, I want the shoosh. I want all the shoosh.
The problem is, you move to Raw, you become closer to Vince McMahon's attention. And we know Vince is not going to do shit with Gable.
Shoosh! Shoosh! I want that. I want all of the shoosh all the time. Oh, are we going to see American Alpha reform?
I'm not opposed.
It's not a bad idea. To SmackDown, we already mentioned The Miz, but we got Jeff Hardy, Absolution, Samosa Joseph, the entirety of Sanity, except for it's not the entirety of Sanity because Nikki Cross is still in NXT. Nikki Cross to Raw confirmed? Possibly? We have the returning Grande Cass, Asuka, The Club, The Bar, somebody called Retruth, and Andrade seeing llamas with some chick.
Admittedly, I mean, the tag team division of SmackDown picks up a lot with the Club and the Bar going over there, and then you have them with the New Day, the Usos, Bludgeon Brothers. I hate the gimmick, but I think Rowan and Harper are a good tag team. So I think you've instilled a really good tag team division on SmackDown, but I think that the mid-card in terms of who they're willing to push got kind of gutted.
Yeah, I would not disagree, but look at it this way. You've got Jeff Hardy, Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura. Let's see, who else? These are all matches. You could put all those guys in a pot and stir really hard, and I don't give a fuck who lines up against.
Yeah, but my problem is
the shit out of those matches.
My problem is you already had that. Because you're basically just getting Joe and Hardy in there, but you had Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, along with most of the guys you just mentioned. So I don't even look at that as necessarily an improvement.
Samoa Joe versus Daniel Bryan.
I've seen it. It's great. I'm happy to see it again. But
and I just
don't see that main spot being outside of Joe being particularly better than what they had, because you've lost Zayn. Now, granted, you were going to lose Zayn in either way, but my point is like I don't feel like outside of the tag team division, I don't feel SmackDown is actually better than it was beforehand. Although, yes, you do have Asuka in the women's division, which helps, but you lost Natty, and I think
they were never doing anything.
I think you also lost the battle of the female squads, because I think the Riot Squad. I actually think all three of those are pretty solid workers, and in return, you got DeVille, who we hate, and you got Mandy Rose, who is good, but I think probably breaks 4 out of that 5.
I think there's a massive upside for Mandy Rose, massive. Whether or not she is given the opportunity, or whether or not I'm wrong, has yet to be proven. I don't like her in a tag situation. I don't like her as part of a group. She definitely needs to... Either she needs to be the one leading the group, or she needs to be out on her own.
I think she can work as a part of a tag team, even not as the leader, but I think you need someone that she makes a little more sense with than Paige and DeVille. Because she always she seemed like the one that didn't really fit. And you had a similar problem with the Riot Squad, because Liv Morgan didn't really seem to fit that one either. Like I don't know why Liv and Mandy weren't partnered up. I think that could work.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, dude, if you could take Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, can you imagine? Like, they are like that. They're both built like brick shit houses, and I mean that on a muscular level. And they're blonde. They're fabulously gorgeous. They have exciting curves, and they would just go out there and do fabulously. They could be like the Hollywood Blondes 2.0.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
You ran it down, and okay, I don't feel like Raw won by as much as I thought they did initially, but I still think Raw won. Because I look at SmackDown, and I'm like, I don't know if you're really traditionally better. I think your tag team division got better. That's a good thing. I would concentrate the tag teams on one fucking brand, frankly.
Let me put it to you this way. They're now saddled with Jatinder Mahal, who was a giant, who everybody groans and rolls their eyes at because they've done so badly with
True. The U.S. title picture got a fair bit better.
Since he's on Raw now, they have no choice but to push him towards some title or other.
Are you ready for Jinder Mahal versus Elias?
Yeah, that'll be a thing. They got face Bobby Roode.
Well, they'll just turn him heel, I hope.
They got Mike Kanellis Bennett. You know what I'm genuinely interested in and genuinely looking forward to? I'm looking forward to Baron Corbin versus Roman Reigns.
It's less. It's honestly, I think it'll be fine.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking. I'm not being sarcastic.
I know you're not. I can't really co-sign on the I'm looking forward to it, but I think it'll be fine.
In my mind, I see Baron Corbin doing, like, he's very dynamic and very athletic. I'm looking forward to seeing Baron Corbin doing dynamic athletic things with Roman Reigns, who is also very dynamic and athletic. I am looking forward to that collision of just athletes doing things.
Yeah.
Whether or not they book it correctly, hey, that's probably not going to happen. But in my mind, I can see Baron Corbin doing the whole slide out of the ring, wrap around the post, slide back into the ring, fall into the Superman punch, get back up, go for a deep six. Like, I can see that sequence in my head right now.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So I'm looking forward to that. Whether or not they do anything with Mike Kanellis, I don't know. The Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre combo unit, that's a hell of a finisher, so that could be good. But I'm really just like, SmackDown's got all of these like wrestling matches that can happen. Like real wrestling matches that like wrestling fans want to see.
Oh, and I 100% agree. I just feel that was already there before the shakeup.
You're not wrong, but I just think with the addition, like with Big Cass coming back, I think, again, there's a big upside on him. But with Samoa Joe in the mix, that's a big ingredient. And Jeff Hardy's a big ingredient.
Depends if Hardy can stay.
The majority of them were already there, but what if CN Albus also continues his form in being just that good in the ring? And so I think he's a little overlooked. R-Truth, I mean, it's not as bad as having Jatinder Mahal, but he's not I guess you got to put him somewhere.
Truth can do some good comedy bits and stuff.
But we're not going to get to, oh, I'm sorry, I'll break your concentration?
Mm-hmm. Well,
that's who needed to get somewhere. That's a guy. We needed to get Goldust moved around. Like, put a spotlight on Goldust. That's what I wanted.
Mind you, we do have Goldust and the Fashion Police on the same brand now.
And, okay, you maybe, alright, so I may concede your point based on the following revelation. Are you ready?
Okay.
3-man band is back together.
3-man band!
So you may be right. You may be absolutely right.
In fairness, I prefer Jinder Mahal and 3-man band to current Jinder Mahal.
Correct. What if 3-man band gets back together and betrays Rhino? And then Rhino's got to get some dudes. And Rhino goes out and gets Mojo Rawley. And somebody... And you can't do Zack Ryder.
Ryder wouldn't even fit. Honestly, you could throw Baron Corbin into that mix and actually probably fit.
Yeah, but what if you get the herd of rhinos against the 3-man band? Fantasy booking warfare come to life.
Fantasy booking warfare, faction warfare! WWE doesn't do faction warfare. We've been through this.
Correct. And then you get Los Boricuas.
And DOA. I actually didn't mind DOA, in fairness.
No, I didn't. I actually liked the gang warfare angle. I thought that was good. They just eventually had too many.
It wasn't even that it was too many. It was that Los Boricuas I just never really bought as anything really.
Yeah.
DOA worked because I'm like, alright, these are a bunch of big dudes who actually know what they're doing, whereas Los Boricuas, they didn't seem to fit. Like, it's not that they weren't good wrestlers necessarily, because they were mostly like Puerto Rican wrestlers. But their style didn't really fit anything with the whole package.
Yeah, that's true. It's can't really argue with that. But I mean, you want to hit all the demographics, and they didn't do a bad job of it.
True.
Also, I didn't know that Drew McIntyre's real name was Andrew Galloway IV.
I was aware of that.
I didn't. Well, I figured it was Andrew something, and that it was either McIntyre or Galloway.
No,
I didn't know he was the fourth.
Well, McIntyre has always been his WWE name. Galloway was the one he used on the Independent and stuff.
And that's why I figured either one of those was probably his real name. I just didn't know which one was which, and never bothered to look it up. And if anybody didn't know, which I was aware of before, but now that I'm looking at, they actually gave all the real names for people on the Wikipedia Super Snake Stare Down page. So if anybody didn't know, Bobby Roode's real name is Robert Roode Jr. That is his fucking name. So, and spelled the same way. So everybody calm the fuck down. I've just heard way too many people go, "Oh, Bobby Roode is just copying Rick Rude and this, that, and the other." Like, no, motherfucker, that is. I
don't think Bobby Roode's gimmick really has ever been really Rick Rude-ish, to be honest.
No, I mean
the name was the only real link.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong, but I mean, he does bear a striking resemblance to Rick Rude, and he wears a robe, which Rick Rude also did, so I can see why people would jump on that.
To be honest, I've always thought it was more of a Ric Flair ripoff, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. But it's, I've heard way too many people say it, so, like, that's his real name. Use Google, you idiots.
Yeah.
Fucking Marks.
So that was the week in wrestling. Like I said, we'll be back with, we'll definitely throw the Lucha Underground versus Impact show into our next podcast, and probably Sakura Genesis as well. Just a little bit of a matter of, do we have the time?
Oh, I've got the time.
We'll see.
I'm getting my internet upgraded next week.
I should actually be able to free up some time. I got some things I'm gonna have off my plate this week, so that will help.
Because you're having people murdered?
I mean, I will neither confirm nor deny this.
Good move.
All right, so that is all, and as always, get off of Byron's lawn.
Correct.